All right, we're looking at some more Timeless today. So now that we've gotten the fetch lands here into Magic Arena client, we do have the ability to play with Omnath a bit more, who in the Timeless format has been reverted back to his original busted self. So for 4 mana with everything but black, we basically get something with a extremely great landfall ability. First land is 4 life, second is 4 mana, and the third is a 4 damage board wipe. The 4 damage board wipe on the third land is a little bit hard to reach, but with these fetch lands now, we are going to be pretty capable of hitting that 4 mana ability. So that is a huge mana advantage to this deck and will help us cast a lot of our high pip spells out in the rest of the deck. So basically what we're trying to do here is we're utilizing our 8 fetch lands here in conjunction with Omnath, but beyond that we are going to be in a situation where we do need to pay a lot of life, because not only do these cost mana, but in the case of us getting fetch lands, we're going to be at a pretty high life damage kind of situation. So if we play against aggro, we need to be pretty cognizant about that one in the deck building phase. So obviously once we get to our Uros and Omnaths, we're going to be fine when it comes to the life gain situation, because we'll just be triggering these things and we'll be out of any killable range very quickly. But until then, we're going to have a hard time surviving. So we have Swords of Plowshares, we have Brainstorm to help us just gain some velocity through the deck. I'm not sure if I've talked about it in any of these decks so far that I've played in Timeless, but Brainstorm has a synergy with all of our fetch lands because those are a force shuffle, so we can get rid of 2 crap cards that we put on top of our library if we want to. We have Lightning Bolt to deal with some small creatures in the beginning, and then some Memory Lapse counterspell things to kind of just control the early game. Growth Spirals to accelerate us out of there, and Ragavan to be both pressure in these situations where we're against non-aggressive decks. He can also be a blocker, he can also help us ramp, he can also help us find cards, so that's pretty solid. Oko, just a 1-of here. Very strong card. Can take over games if left unchecked. But the real star here is going to be Divine Purge against these small decks, because this thing can just turn around a game that we were really not supposed to win. And then, of course, Supreme Verdicts as a very good control board wipe. And basically after that, we're to our Omnaths and Leyline Bindings at the top end. Leyline Binding is getting powered by the 1-of Zagoth Triumph to find our swamp basic land type. Searchable with, I believe, it's all of our fetch lands. So yeah, if we need it, we can find it, and that will be a good way of getting our domain costs covered. So that's more or less the deck. We're pretty much playing most of the cards off of the ban list in Historic, so this is very reminiscent of the Historic no ban list deck that I played a while ago. With that being said, let's hop into some games here. We'll get some Timeless in for today, and in the future, definitely watch out on this channel for Timeless videos, maybe coming on Mondays or Wednesdays in my upload schedule. I've kind of yet to decide how that's going to work out, but keep an eye out for it. Definitely let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this kind of content. It'll kind of influence how I decide to schedule content going forward. I still love Historic, but Timeless is definitely a new, fun game mode. It'll be exciting to see where the meta ends up in the future here, but for now, while we're figuring it out, it allows us to play some pretty cool decks. With that being said, that brings us to the end of the intro. Let's hop into some games here, and remember to like and comment on the video to help me with the algorithm, and subscribe if you are new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's hop into game 1 and see what we can do with 4-color Omnath. Alright, here we go. This is our round 1. We have Supreme Verdict and Divine Purge. We have a Lightning Bolt to control early, and pretty much if we just get 1 more white mana, we have a pretty good early game against creatures. I am fine to keep this. So we're going to both need green and white, which makes my Windswept Heath fetch pretty easy. Mishra's Bauble looking at the top of my library. They're holding Wooded Foothills. They could pretty much be on most colors of mana, but it seems like if they are going to be playing black, which is the colors that I most associate with Mishra's Bauble, they at least can't fetch it off of this Wooded Foothills unless they play multiple colors. So, what does that mean for me here? I think I'm probably going to play slow with a Windswept Heath. We'll wait until they crack their fetch for me to crack mine. They actually don't crack it in my end step. Could be that they're looking for something with blue here. Yeah, that could be Stifle or something equivalent, so I gotta be careful about this Windswept Heath. We're gonna attempt to crack it. I just hope that they're not a Stifle deck. And will this resolve, or is this a Stifle? That is Stifle. Alright. I definitely have been planning to play this deck on my own as well, so that's going to be a thing that I definitely put into my Lotus decks. Look for that coming down the pipeline in the future for sure. Okay, so they do have Wooded Foothills here. I guess I could have fetched in their initial end step, but they would have just fetched in response, found a breeding pool, and then stifled me regardless, so it's fine. We are going to be playing off of our Divine Purge Supreme Verdict, though, which is unfortunate. Let's pass. So they're on Teamer here. Some sort of control list here, so we're just going to play slow. If they don't want to go aggressive, we don't have to go aggressive. Ghost Quarter. Okay, well, it's good that we play basics. Okay, so let's go ahead and float red here. Go ahead and take action. Let's find our basic red. That is the importance of playing at least a couple of fetch lands in your deck. I mean, sorry, basic lands. What am I saying? Sleight of hand, okay. Kind of an interesting play there. So they have left up 2 blue mana still. I could just jam an Uro here, and I think I'm happy to do so. Easy counterspell for them, but it's just fine card value for me to play. I've got more of them, and that Uro can come back eventually. Blooded Strand. Oh, they're hurting themselves, which is what I want to see happen. What do we have in the graveyard here? Nothing super interesting. Ah, they're treasure cruising, I see. And here's Ragavan, which we do want to kill. Oh, Ragavan and Tarmogoyf, interesting. So if I shock here, I cannot play my Omnath. But if I shock, I can Uro and bolt something, which is probably going to be Ragavan. Divine Purge takes out Tarmogoyf eventually, just not yet. We go to 15, back up to 18. And then let's put this green source out, sweet. So that does represent an Uro here pretty soon. Let's go ahead and bolt Ragavan. That, I don't want to risk them having a counterspell in their upkeep. We're fine to take the Tarmogoyf damage up until a point. But that point is going to be short-lived. Or that point will be soon approaching. Well, Growth Spiral helps fill the graveyard. Fortunately, we still won't have enough for an Uro. Unfortunate. Even with this. I won't be able to cast anything, so this comes in tapped. We're going to have to take another Tarmogoyf beat, but at least we get an Uro back next turn, which can tangle with the Tarmogoyf. Bolt the face. They'd need 2 more bolts in order to kill. Very close. They can put us to 2 here. But can they put us to 0? Flooded Strand. Alright. And actually, yeah, if they just have a counterspell for Uro, it's over. They go to 11. And we do actually get our turn here, holding up Memory Lapse. That is pretty solid. We will Uro out the rest of our graveyard here. And is it a counterspell in hand? Oh! It's actually the win is what it is. That is crazy to think of. Well, we just flew really close to the sun there, and I guess the sun decided to turn off after a little bit. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but it's a win. Okay. Well, I feel like we definitely didn't play super well there. We pretty much got clipped as hard as we possibly could have with this Windswept Heath getting stifled. Did not draw any sort of white mana after the fact, and unfortunate. But I guess somehow it ended up working out. I'm not going to complain. So that was round 1 in the bag here. Let's hop into round 2 and try it one more time. We'll hopefully be able to get this Omnath into play pretty soon. Round 2 coming up. Okay, it is round 2. We have a Memory Lapse starter. We can use Swords to Plowshares, and if we draw a land after our first 2 land drops, that is an Uro that we can play. I will try it. Is this a turn 1 Ragavan? It is something not as bad. Should I hold up Swords to Plowshares is the question, or can I wait? I think I can wait a turn. Debatably should have showed the Temple Garden. I'm not totally sure. Let's see what happens. Soulscar Mage just hits us for 1. Scalding Viper, interesting. What do I feel about Scalding Viper? I'm not really sure. We're going to hold up this Memory Lapse, see if anything terrible happens to us. And should I take 3? I'm not sure if I want to take 3. I guess I will, and then we'll see if they play something. It's Lightning Strike, okay. And then this is an opponent casts a spell with 3 or less. Okay. I probably now want to kill Scalding Viper because I have a lot of 3 mana spells, but really only does 1 damage. So I think I'm probably more worried about the Soulscar Mage. We do take another from this. But we do get a creature off the battlefield. We're very close to Leyline Binding. I think now we're just memory lapsing whatever they start to play. We need to wait until we can draw land. Okay. Scalding Viper is probably not for this world. That's going to be coming back next turn. But now we have an Uro in hand. Uro represents a lot of damage. These Leyline Bindings now can take out the Scalding Vipers. And do I want to take out the Scalding Vipers or hold up Memory Lapse? I'm not really sure what I want to do here. I'm worried about Burn, but I know they're just drawing a Scalding Viper next turn, so I don't think they have Burn in their hand. They could have removal. They could have swords of their own. I'd be surprised if they're playing swords in this deck that's trying to beat down so effectively. I gotta make a decision between Uro now and Leyline Binding. I think I'll Leyline Binding on their end step. Luckily, Leyline Binding is a 6 mana card as well. We go to 6. Are they gonna cast Scalding Viper? Eidolon of the Great Revel. Okay, so I think I probably care about that a bit more. Should I make that their draw for next turn? I think I'm just going to Leyline Binding right now. Get rid of that. And we can do the same again next turn. Counterspell's also good here. We will get hit down to 4, which I'm not super crazy about. I think I'm going to exile now. They can Scalding Viper their Scalding Viper back, I guess. Oh, Crusher to face, okay. So they did actually have some sort of burn. Alright. Get that out of the way. Now we can go to Uro's plans. Oh, nice. Sources Plowshares is great. Alright, so there's an Uro. The best thing we could draw is a white land, a white producing land. Oh, yeah. I think I'm probably not going to do anything with the Hollowed Fountain, though. How close are we on Uro? Not quite yet. We're also a red mana away from Omnath. Well, one thing that's good is we do have Supreme Verdict to hold up. So I think for the Scalding Viper, it's worth it to Swords. So I'll use Swords and Growth Spiral here. Swords. Take a damage, but at least it's less than 2. Interestingly enough, they play Scalding Viper, but they don't seem to produce the blue mana in order to do anything about that. Is this a counterspell target? I think this is probably a counterspell target. Let's get rid of Lightning Strike. We do take another damage, but at least the Scalding Viper will eventually be off the battlefield. Got it. But more importantly, that is our 5th card into the bin. We move to turn. We have Brainstorm coming down. So this is Growth Spiral plus Brainstorm. A lot of value for us here. Excuse me. And then Uro will be coming back the next turn. So we want to try to find a land here. Scalding Viper, let's start with some Brainstorm. We'd like to see a fetch land. Putting me down to 2, or to 3. That's fine, we're gonna Uro next turn. 1, 2, 3, we will actually put back probably Uro Memory Lapse. Flooded Strand can find a basic mountain. We go to 2. I think I probably want to Uro once beforehand. Maybe we just keep this Uro. And then actually, yeah, we save for when we get Omnath into play. Supreme Verdict needs to be used to deal with the Bone Crusher Giants. I think I'll probably just put back Memory Lapse and Brainstorm. Okay, yeah, I don't really need to think about this too bad because I'm going to be casting Growth Spiral anyway. Boom, boom. And pass. Okay, now they got the Scalding Viper. We will not fetch because that will just about kill us. Let's go for Uro here. Let's get rid of 5 cards. I want to keep Swords to Plowshares available. Interesting. I actually didn't know this was a cast ability. Okay, Escape is a cast ability. Got it. Alright, well, here's our Uro. Lovely. We'll gain our 3 life. And we do actually find a land here. Sweet. So if we fetch for blue instead... Well, we need to just fetch for red. I don't think there's anything about... any way around it. We could potentially go to 3 damage. We'll see where we're at the end of this turn. Bone Crusher Giant. We're going to get ready to probably just Supreme Verdict. We'll attack in with Uro, see what we can kill, and then probably Supreme Verdict if it doesn't work out. So if I can find a land, it'd be great for this Omnath plan. I'm going to give myself a draw to draw it here. Okay, so let's attack in with Uro. 1 card in grave. Let's go ahead and see how they block. Okay, cool. So they're going to double block to kill. That is actually fine. Then maybe I actually don't really even care too much about this Eidolon of the Great Revel. So I can go Supreme Verdict, use my Flooded Strand to find Mountain next turn, either Uro or do something. So let's actually go ahead and crack this now then, go to 7. We'll get our Mountain, use it to cast Supreme Verdict. That was my... Oh, of course, I can't get a basic basic Mountain off of a Flooded Strand. I'll get Steam Vents instead. We are going to have to pay the 2 life then. Let's use that red mana to cast this, saving 2 mana for either Brainstorm or Growth Spiral. Okay, cool. So now they just have Bone Crusher Giant, and I should be able to work around that. We even have Supreme Verdict number 2 as well. Let's Brainstorm first, I guess. If we were to put this on top of their library, then they get to shock us, and that's worse. Ragavan and Omnath can go back. We'll draw the Ragavan. Okay, and that's the Eidolon, so that plays right into our other Supreme Verdict. Sweet. Let's do that. And then we're going to dash Ragavan. Start to amass some treasures, get some stuff off the top of their library. Would have loved to keep them with that land as the draw for turn. Now that actually does show us that they... Okay, so let's see what they have here. Play with fire. This is okay. Do I want to brainstorm? I know that I'm drawing Omnath, so that's not super great. I will actually look further with brainstorm. We might as well. No land, but we do actually draw that mountain, funnily enough. Excuse me. I may forget to edit that out. Oh well. Yeah, let's go back to the growth spiral. We are basically getting that effect with Uro. And so we are brainstorm locked a bit. It's going to take us a few turns to get out, but at least we can use Uro to make it around that. So here is this. Let's go ahead and... I guess we can get both Omnath out as well, in addition to Uro. So let's do Omnath first. We'll go Uro here, get ourselves out of bolt range. Nice, and that is a land in here that will gain us some life with Omnath. Do I care to keep this untapped? No, I don't. And there's some life. We're up to 10 life here. Feels good. Life is great. Now, opponent's in top deck mode, so this is really what we want to be seeing. They keep on their top. Okay. And yeah, they realize that we are out of range. Okay, well, we navigated that pretty perfectly. I feel that we considered some of the things that could be done and made probably some smart plays here. Got a little bit unlucky with having to shock steam vents here. We came pretty close to dying there. But overall, things worked out. Ragavan even showed up and did his thing. Got an Omnath on the battlefield. Was able to trigger the first part of landfall. We'll go for the second one next game. Here comes round 3. Alright, round 3. Let's go. Windswept Heath, Breeding Pool. This is giving some reminiscent vibes of how game 1 went, where we got stifled on a Windswept Heath, and that kept us off of our white mana. But in this game, how do I feel about it? Well, we can find something that makes red. We can find like a Sacred Foundry or something that will give us access to all our colors. That does allow us to cast Memory Lapse, and it won't, unfortunately, allow us to cast Growth Spiral. So maybe I need something that produces green or blue. I could get the Izzet Shockland, maybe. I'll keep this hand regardless. Mishra's Bauble, okay. I just pray this Fiery Islet is not for countering my Windswept Heath. Let's at least do it in their upkeep before they draw. That is fine. So you get to see my top card, but I'm about to shuffle it away. We'll draw, or we will activate Windswept Heath, and I think we are going to get that... oh wait, we don't have the Izzet land in here, I forgot about that. Or rather, it can't be gotten with Windswept Heath. So we need to get probably white, and then we have to pick between blue or green. I think we'll probably just get blue, so Hollowed Fountain it is. That can go intact. So no red just yet. We'll get it later. We actually, of course, have Wooded Foothills literally right here. That can find our Izzet Shockland. And at this point, we probably just want red-green. DRC is the move. Okay, so then if it's going to be DRC, they're going to have probably Spell Pierces, Surveilling, and things like that to get DRC into Delirium by maybe the next turn, if not the one after. So I'm just wondering if I need to get Lightning Bolt out earlier rather than later. If I go for Wooded Foothills now... Well, whatever my turn 2 land is, I'm probably putting it in tapped. I guess with Wooded Foothills in play, I can decide if that needs to be untapped now or later. Okay, we'll pass. Like, basically, we're just playing to a turn where we get to play Uro. That is my current situation. And actually, you know, we can Growth Spiral into a Breeding Pool. I didn't really consider that. We could have actually Growth Spiraled by playing our Breeding Pool last turn, then played Wooded Foothills, and then found our red source for the Lightning Bolt, so we could have killed DRC this turn. At the expense of like a lot of life though, so I don't really know how I feel about that. So in this case, let's get the red-green shock land here. I guess I might as well shock here and put the breeding pool in tapped. I would have to shock next turn anyway. Pay 2 life. Here comes Growth Spiral. This actually could potentially bait out a counterspell here. They do seem to have one, that is. Let's put that one in tapped. Enters tapped. And I guess here comes Flooded Strand for the coming turn. Ooh, or I could shock a Temple Garden and be greedy trying to get Omnath into play. Let's play 2 life for this. We're into Uro. And then Lightning Bolt trying to draw out Counter Magic. And then the following turn we drop Omnath plus Flooded Strand. Okay, so we'll just kill the DRC. Okay, that seems to be their last counterspell that they can cast on 1 mana. Or maybe they just never had more than one... or maybe they could have another counterspell in hand, who knows. We'll make a decision next turn whether we want to hold Uro plus Memory Lapse or play Omnath. Seeing that they played EI this turn, it looks like I'm probably going to just do Omnath. And they put the Mishra's Bauble out, okay. I mean, this could very well be counterspell. Okay, so now if I do it like this, I can just get basic Island here, and then this Omnath means that I still have Brainstorm. Okay, cool. So let's see if they counter this. Wow. I am impressed. Did not think we were going to be winning on that turn. Seems like people are just kind of scared of Omnath. Alright, well, kind of a quick round 3, but sometimes that happens. Let's hop into round 4 right now. I think I called this round 4 in the last recording. This is in fact round 3. But it is a really good hand here. Unfortunately, we don't have the green or the white mana for Leyline Binding, but that is going to be fine with double Brainstorm and Uro. Drop the Zagoth Triumph here. That puts us 3 out of 5 on Leyline Binding. Opt comes down. Red-white would be our ideal next draws, and we actually just get pretty much what we could want here. I'm going to put this in tapped and use one of our Brainstorms. Leyline Binding, now a 2-cost spell. If we actually find the white to cast it, then it will be free. I suppose we could get Ragavan. Here's Brainstorm. Let's see if they have a counterspell. They do not. And this is Swords to Plowshares plus Growth Spiral. The fact that they didn't have a counterspell here makes me think I just need to jam Oko next turn. We're fine to be Brainstorm locked like this. We have our lands to draw, and I think we'll probably just use Growth Spiral as our draw for next turn, or for the turn after this one. So that's going to be an Oko Thief of Crowns hitting the battlefield. Let's make a food. Now, if they can't deal with an Oko, or if they have only creatures, this is going to be a really hard game for them. We're going to immediately Oko our Elk, our token here. Get in for 3. They do have something for this. Swords to Plowshares. Yes, please. Play land here, and we will... Should we Uro or Growth Spiral? I think Uro is probably a good start. Start to just gain some life, draw some cards. Yeah, this is what we want to be doing. Again, we are missing that all-important white mana. Maybe the second Brainstorm can find it. Oh, this is a Wilderness Wreck deck. Alright, we like to see that. Wow, unlucky. Well, we might as well just put the double swords out here. We will eventually draw them anyway. Wilderness Reclamation, you got it. My turn. Here is Oko making a food token. Oko's on some big loyalty here. Unfortunately, the artifact or creature swapping cannot happen right now. So we can go double Growth Spiral here. I think that's the most effective for putting cards into the graveyard, plus it helps us clear through our Brainstorm. It's Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We better find that white mana source pretty soon. They can tuck our Oko like that. We're going to get some growth spirals in. Here is the Windswept Teeth that we were looking for. That finds us our white mana. We won't use it yet, I guess. Oh yeah, so here's what we'll do. They do this. We're going to go ahead and find something to do with our Leyline Binding, which will basically just be Hollowed Fountain, I think. Shock that in, and that is our 1 mana Leyline Binding to take out the fairy. Alright, it worked out.
You know what?
Alright, now that we have all 4 colors, this is looking good. They have access to 7 mana here. Let's see if they float. They do not. We have them life to go ahead and shock and not feel too bad about ourselves. I made another token instead of animating one of them. Oops. And then now we got to decide Omnath or Uro. I'd like to play an Omnath and then start going with Uro. I think that is pretty powerful. Draw a card. Now we have Memory Lapse as well. That feels great. Maybe we can clip a combo. Maybe we can protect our Omnath. Let's see what happens. So Triss Khanta we don't care about. Wilderness Rec number 2. Let's slow them down and put that on top. Having many Wilderness Reclamations can only mean bad things for us. Okay, so Growth Spiral, they are ramping once again. This could just be the Tamiyo Nexus deck, a deck that I'm super fond of. We find Wooded Foothills here. We are pretty close to getting our Omnath onto his fun 3rd ability. Let's go ahead and Wooded Foothills now. We're going to go ahead and fetch. Pretty much using most of that life right now. Let's find another green source since we don't have many of those, and another white source in case we need it. That will make some Omnath mana, and let's use some of that to cast our Uro from the graveyard. We'll get rid of first the lands, then some of these other spells. I'll keep a Brainstorm and Memory Lapse in the grave. Gain some more life, put some more lands down. It's another Wooded Foothills. We do actually hit our 3rd Omnath thing, so that is actually a bucket list item all done. Now we just hold swords plus our other Uro. We'll have another Wooded Foothills activation to start working on Omnath with. And this all feels pretty solid now. So Wilderness Rec is the next play. Oh, it's Wrath of God, okay. Do I want to do anything about my own Swords to Plowshares? Not really. I don't really need to gain life. Yeah, this is okay to let happen. Oko should be able to win this on his own. And we actually draw other Omnath. Let's go. ATB's draw card. We actually just draw the land. Amazing. We'll go ahead and elk another one of these. And let's go ahead and fetch our 2 lands here. Alright. And yeah, that's some more damage. We'll put them to 2 here, but not before casting our other Uro. Or I guess this is the same Uro, isn't it? Alright, and then we'll actually bolt them here and put in the last 3 damage. Alright, that is all the power I was looking for out of 4-color Omnath. What a showing. I'm really curious to know what our opponent was on. It looks like some sort of Bant control, but also using Wilderness Reclamation. Definitely one of the brews that people are coming up with at this point in the format's existence. I think that we'll see some more stronger versions of this. I have some plans in the future to play some Temur Rec. That is an old modern deck that should be a lot of fun. Look for that coming down the pipeline here in the future. That was round 4. We have one more coming up. Let's go. Alright, here we go. So this is the final round here. We have 5 fetches and a growth spiral to accelerate with. This is a risky keep, but I am down for it. Windswept Teeth will be our turn 1 play. I hope that this is not for Stifle. Are we getting blown out here? Let's see. Oh, nice. It's fine. Let's go ahead and find that Zagoth Triome. We do our turn here, and we will, I suppose, just shock the breeding pool. We're looking good on the Omnath game plan. That can actually be cast as early as turn 3. We'll hold up the Windswept Teeth for when he's in the battlefield. Spiral. Does a resolve. Cool. Let's put down the red. I mean, they're definitely holding up mana. I'd like to just jam an Omnath and see what happens. Let's actually just play it a little bit slower here. I actually needed to play the Hallowed Fountain there, whoops. I was about to say we can use this to keep our life total a little bit higher. Fortunately, not going to be the case. Let's just sandbag one more turn here. Then we'll decide what to do about this DRC. I want to see them make a move first before I drop this Omnath. Okay. This is probably just like, is it Delver or something like that? Just small creatures low to the ground doing what they do. So if I shock Temple Garden here, I'm going to have my 6th mana. That will be enough for Swords, Brainstorm, and an Omnath. It won't be enough to hold up like a 2nd activation for Omnath, but I don't think that that's going to be super important right now. Pay 2 life. Attempt to Swords their DRC. Let's see if they want to fight back on this. They just let it happen, okay. Am I just going to play Omnath here? I'm down. Let's see if this resolves. If they have the counterspell, they must be saving it for this. Okay, makes sense. Pretty good trigger discipline out of my opponent. I'm surprised. So what's their 5 mana play here? It's Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I guess I'll go ahead and Brainstorm here. We'll be looking for a board wipe, I think, eventually. Supreme Verdicts are going to be great for us here. They Spell Pierce my Brainstorm. I'm fine that they use it that way. Now the question is, do I want to use Windswept Teeth and Flooded Strand, or do I want to wait for an Omnath to come down? We will see. Another fetch. I think we'll just wait on activating that right now. I could thin my deck, but I'd kind of like to save this for Omnath. Maybe it's actually not correct to do that. Maybe we need to just start trying to draw some gas, because otherwise we're just going to die to a 2-2. Haughty Djinn, even worse. So let's see, this is 5 damage that will soon become more than 5 damage, so it's probably a 2-turn clock regardless. That means I should be able to activate Wooden Foothills and not feel too bad about myself. Tend to like breeding pools. Alright. A Leyline Binding is great. We'll do it in their upkeep. The Djinn is the worst one. Oh, I don't know why I did that in my own end step. Silly me. We're taking the Djinn. That's their biggest clock piece right now. They'll instead deal 2 damage to me. Okay. 1 to the top. Okay. Don't like to see that, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Let's see if we can survive this. It's going to take probably either an Uro or Omnath draw. Oh, actually a board wipe would help us here too. So we have maybe... How many of these cards have we seen? We've seen just 1 Omnath. So we have about an 11 card draw here. Oh, we drew the Uro. That's huge. Let's play Uro. And we do have 6 cards in grave, so that is going to be able to be an Uro cast as well. Put the Heath out, and that is enough to do this. We'll exile pretty much just the lands first. I mean, none of these are really coming back, so it doesn't exactly matter. I guess it could matter if they have like a Tarmogoyf or something like that. Makes sense that Uro comes down. Okay. And then I think we are going to crack here and play a Leyline Binding on this Kiki Jiki. That means we'll probably want to get our basic planes, take out Kiki Jiki. Okay. So we gotta hope that they kind of run out of gas here. Opt. Well, it's gonna help them find it. Maybe they draw land. We got 3 cards in grave, need 3 more. They'll make their treasure, you got it. I'm a little bit worried about doing the Windswept Heath thing. We can dash Ragavan. Oh, and that had no resistance at all, so I don't think they have a counterspell. I'd love a DRC. We'll end turn, Ragavan can go back to hand, but I think we will, in this case, want to go grab a red source. Oh, this is going to put us to 4, though. Okay. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh my gosh. I forgot how Ragavan worked. It's at the end step, not at the end of your post-secondary main phase. Oops. Post-combat main phase, that is. Okay, little mistake there. Let's see if they can burn us out to kill for it. I am very interested in blocking in this particular scenario. So unfortunate that I decided to play it that way. I want to dash Ragavan again. We got Expressive Iteration, which is huge. So Omnath to hand. Did I play a land this turn? I think I did not. I could also exile Ragavan for 2 life. I'll put the swords back and then I'll put this out. The reason being because I want to cast Omnath using my treasure. And then I want to play the land. Let's see if they have a counterspell. Nice. Get to draw a card here. Sweet, and that's another Swords to Plowshares. Alright, we're back to 8 life. We can go another 4 if we exile our own Omnath. Rag comes back to hand, and now we feel pretty solid. Alright, we've kind of stabilized here a little bit. Opponent has used 2 counterspells, I think. So we're working through their hand, or we're working through their deck. So it deals 5 damage to target creature. I think I just swords my own Omnath here, unless I can find something to do. I guess I could find Memory Lapse here. Did not find Memory Lapse. We'll put Supreme Verdict. Well, okay, is there anything I don't want to draw? I think I'd like to keep all these cards, so I'm going to put Supreme Verdict back. This will be the first one that I draw, and then we can decide with the Flooded Strand later. Now, am I worried about any creatures from them? I think I'm worried more about creatures from them than I am gaining 4 life here. Yeah, because if they kill it, I can just respond with Supreme Verdict this turn, or I can just even eat 2 damage. Yeah, this is okay. We also have 6 cards in graveyard, so that is Uro next turn. We'll take 2. Okay, move to our turn here. So this is Flooded Strand, this is Uro. Exiling 5 cards. Resolve, sweet. And that is a land we can put onto the battlefield. I would again like to dash my Ragavan. Every turn I get to do this is just extra value for me. See what we rip, if anything. Unholy Heat is great. We'll take out your creature. They have something for that. 2 damage to face, you got it. I'm not really worried about that. If Uro survives, we stand to gain a whole lot from him. 1 goes to the top. Could be scary. I am gonna just stay here though. Okay, so let's see if Uro survives this turn. Wow. Looks like that's enough, and we get the concession. Alright, that brings us to the end of Game 5, and overall I think this has been such a fun series as we actually promote to Diamond 4. Very cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. A lot of fun here. Definitely check the deck list out in the description. I'll include the tapped out link. And yeah, if you liked the video, comment on the video with what you liked about it, and like the video as well to help with the algorithm. And if you're new here and want to subscribe for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I highly suggest you do so. That being said, let me know what decks you're playing in Timeless. Let me know how you're liking the format in general. I'm having a great time with it, and things have just been awesome. Can't complain. All right, that's all for me. I will see you in the next one for our next Timeless or Historic video, whatever Eternal format we decide to play next. I'll see ya.